Welcome back to FMF at Disney. My name is Linnell. So excited you're here with us one more time. Quick thing, today we're just going to be focusing on the entertainment on the Disney Wish. So if you're wanting to find out what you can do, how you can do it, what are some cool things that get offered, this is the podcast for you. So don't leave, come on back. All right, here we go. Hello again. My name is Linnell, just in case you missed it the first time. I am going to be talking about the Disney Wish. Me and my wife were able to go on the cruise a couple weeks ago. So excited and had a blast. I have cruise blues. I miss it already. Specifically, this episode, we're going to be talking about entertainment on the boat. If you're interested at all in the boat itself or the food on the boat, I'll have links to those other podcasts below so you can check them out as well. Pretty cool information, I think, biased, of course, but just some things that I thought were super important to go over. So hopefully they'll help you as well. So make sure you follow me, check that out, all of that stuff, so you can find out when my fourth edition will be up. So that's coming up soon as well. All right, so entertainment. There's so much to talk about, honestly. Trying to figure out how to do it the right way. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm going to just talk about the main shows, the main entertainment on the Disney Wish, the way it happened for us, and also just go through some of the spots that you can go to on the ship that are offer entertainment and some of the entertainment that they offered. So, all right, here we go. So, again, we were on a 4-day Caribbean cruise. We went to the Bahamas, Castaway Cay, which is Disney's private island. And then we had a day at sea, and then back to Port Canaveral where we left from. So, our first day, and I might even get these days wrong because I remember the events, but what day honestly kind of blurred all together because there was so much going on. So I know the first day for sure that happened was the kickoff party. I'm maybe saying the name wrong, but basically it was a kickoff party and it was on the pool deck. That deck is, like I mentioned, is on 11. That's where the pools are, things like that. So if you are on the boat, and there's going to be a show coming up, be prepared to get kicked out of the pool. Not if there's anything happening on the pool deck that they talk about in your Disney app, just know I think they close all the pools, actually, now that I'm saying it out loud. I didn't spend a lot of time in the pools because kids, small pools, urine, no, thank you. But that's just for me. If I went in a pool, it was on the adults only area, which I talk about and I'll kind of cover a little bit later on in this video too. So anyway, the kickoff day outside deck 11, full of Disney characters. So that's the first big chance for your kids to be able to see Disney characters. So that's always fun, super high energy, super cool. I enjoyed it. I got to see a little bit of it. I didn't get to watch the whole show, but I saw a lot just based on the time that we got on the ship. Just a heads up, it's going to be crowded. It's going to be full. I mean, if you're on a cruise and you're expecting to have, that 6 feet thing, no, that's not happening. Especially when it comes to those big events. Actually, only when it comes to those big events. The ship is huge. I never felt crowded unless I went to a show or something like that, but there's plenty of room for everyone to spread out. So I just definitely want to clear that up. Definitely plenty of room on the ship if you're looking for things to do. Where the amount of people is most noticeable are the shows. So the things I'm going to be kind of covering today. So Yeah, the kickoff party, again, character driven, loud music, lots of fun, really cool time. One of the nights, so the way they do shows, it's alternate your dinner schedule. Sorry. So if you get a first dinner seating, which is usually around 5:30, something like that, then you will be go to dinner, and then you'll go to the show at 8 o'clock. If you're second seating for dinner around the 8 o'clock hour, then that means you'll go to the first show. And again, the shows are in the main theater, the auditorium main area. I'll put a picture up. That's on deck 3. So keep that in mind. And they have a balcony on deck 4. So you can get in from deck 3 or 4. So in the Disney theater space, honestly, the seats are a little tight. Those are probably the most uncomfortable seating that I experienced on the ship. Just a little tight. So probably like a FMF 3 if I had to give it a rating. So those were a little tight. The the show, the first night, the show was a Goofy was trying to become a captain. That's kind of the gist of it. He's trying to become a ship's captain. So that's the gist of it. So just so you know, my opinion, I would go to every show if you can. I mean, Disney's huge about, their Broadway style shows. I mean, honestly, it's some of the best stuff I've seen. So the before we got on the cruise, we actually went to see Lion King on Broadway, and I mean, it was up to par with that for sure. Like the staff was really great. I'm a musician also, and the singing was amazing. Like the singers on this boat, if you're into music at all, you'll love it for real. So the first show was again Goofy themed around Goofy being wanting to become a ship's captain. The crew, and even on the ship before the show starts, the crew is on it like you cannot record. You will not see a picture, a video of from me anyway, because I'm a rule follower, I guess. But they do tell you like, hey, don't record anything. And people were like, there were crew members, standing in the back of the room, and if they saw the light of a phone, they came up and told you, hey, turn that off. So don't, you might be able to get away with it. I've seen some videos of people who had recordings of it, but on our ship, they were very strict about, hey, don't record. So keep that in mind. That show was great. Lots of characters. If you're getting for kids, if you're trying to decide, will my kid enjoy it? They definitely will. Lots of characters for that night, for that show. Show was, man, I don't know the time limit of that one. I can't think. I want to say all the shows, I mean, they gave you ample enough time to leave the theater and then make it to your dinner reservation. So it's not like, I would say I don't think any of them were longer than an hour of all these major shows I'm going to talk about. So that was night 1. Night 2 was Little Mermaid. Now, this is the one show I did not get to see. I wish we could have made it, but we missed Little Mermaid. So Little Mermaid was in the main theater. Also, these next 4 shows I'm talking about are in the main theater. Little Mermaid, from our friends who were in episode 2, who did the food with us, the Sharps, they loved Little Mermaid. They said it was great. I wish we could have saw it. So didn't get to see that one, so sorry about that. Then the third night, I'm a little confused about which was which happened when, but basically the third night was, we'll just stay with the show. The third show was Aladdin. Now that one I got to see, and man, that was good. It was only, like I said, it was basically the Aladdin story condensed into an hour. The singing was great. The girl who played, the opening character who sang, in the movie, it's Robin Williams basically, and in the live action, it's Will Smith. But anyway, in that character, the girl who played that character sang that place down. She was amazing. I think I heard her sing some other places on the ship, but that show was great. The dancers were great. Some of the best, like I said, this is not going to be a show you're like, as an adult, you're going to be like, this is lame. I never felt that at all. I mean, me and my wife, we went on this cruise by ourselves, just me and us. We don't have any kids, and I was all into it. Like, great show. I would suggest for all these shows, try to get there a little early if you can, because seating is limited. Not limited, it's enough for the people, but like, people try to save room and save seats. They tell you not to save seats, but there's always going to be that family when only one of them has showed up and the other 8 are late, and they're going to try to save those seats. So yeah, and if you're that family, move over. Tell your people get there on time. But yeah, the Aladdin show was great. I mean, I can tell you, like, there was even some pyrotechnic stuff in there. So, some sparks and things like that. Not like small stuff, like someone's probably backstage freaking out with a fire extinguisher just in case it goes wrong. So that was a really good show. Probably, I mean, so the Sharps, they told me that was probably their favorite show. I mean, of the 2 I saw, I thought it was my favorite too. So make sure you make this show. And then I think that's all that was the main theater shows. The next show would have probably been Pirate Night, which was amazing. So Pirate Night is outside, outside on the pool deck, like I mentioned, deck 11 and 12. Actually, yeah, we'll get there. So Pirate Night, there is they do it. There's a live band show. Like the band of the ship was great. They were there on the pool deck. There's a special guest. I'm not gonna ruin it for you. So special guest for Pirate Night. You will only see him at Pirate Night. That's probably a clue, but make sure you make it. And so you'll want to make sure you see that. So Pirate Night is one of the 2 fireworks shows. So there's another day that they had fireworks. I think it was the kickoff night, not the kickoff party, because there's a kickoff party in the daytime, and then there was one that night. For Pirate Night only happens on 4-day cruises, at least, again, on the Disney Wish. The 3-day cruise, I know they don't get Pirate Night. So keep that in mind if you're trying to book your cruise and trying to decide which one you want to go to. 4-day cruise gives you Pirate Night. All right, so on this night, there's a live show. It's probably like 15, 20 minutes. It's a great show. The whole cast is dressed in pirate gear. Even the characters are dressed in pirate gear. You're going to see a lot of the guests dressed in pirate gear. So if you're one of those guys that one of those people that want to dress up, that is a great night to dress up. Pirate Night is a great night to dress up. They're going to be everywhere. So Pirate Night starts with the live show, and then probably so that part was literally about 10, 15 minutes. And then there's probably like a 7 to 10 minute fireworks show. And that was with the live band playing the music behind it. So make sure you get a good spot for your kids to see the fireworks. They shoot them pretty high, so it's not straight up above the boat. It's usually, I think it's out on the right side, which is starboard, I think that's right. I think it's right. Yeah, I think that's right. We're gonna go with it. Yeah, so starboard side is the side that the fireworks are on the right side usually. What else for Pirate Night? I think that's all of the main big entertainments as far as like the main auditorium room and the pool deck parties. Like I mentioned, there was another firework night. So on the 4-day cruise, we had 2 fireworks nights. One was the opening night. They had a show, and then Pirate Night. So if you're on a 3-day cruise, you will at least get 1 fireworks show. I felt like the first one, the one that wasn't Pirate Night, was probably really short. I didn't think that one felt really long. So keep that in mind as far as, that kind of entertainment. So I think that's all of the big events that happen as far as like, hey, they're encouraging everybody to come be on board for. The other time that the main theater auditorium was ever open was when they showed Little Mermaid. So when we were on the boat, it was the weekend Little Mermaid came into theaters, the live action one. So they have two movie theaters on the boat. One is based off of Neverland and one is Wonderland. So in these movie theaters, they will be showing all types of movies. So, and also on the pool deck, they also show movies pretty much all day. And you can check the Disney Cruise Line app that will give you in that app. It'll give you what when the movies are showing and what time and all that and where they're showing. So there are, like I mentioned, there's at least 3 areas in the ship where a movie is showing: Neverland Theater, Wonderland Theater, and the pool deck. And sometimes they open up the main theater space for movies, you know. And like I said, the week we were there, Little Mermaid came out, so that one took up. A lot of people probably wanted to see that, so they used the bigger space. Type of movies that we saw that were offered. I mean, the Guardians of the Galaxy 3 just came out, so they're not like old movies. Those two were on. I remember seeing Big Hero 6, the classics like Little Mermaid, Aladdin, Peter Pan. I saw them. What is it? Peter and Wendy, or Pan and Wendy, the newest release of Peter Pan, the new version of that was also out that week. So me personally, like, I didn't pay to watch movies, so I didn't go see any movies. You know, I wanted to do things on the ship. So that's just me personally. We went and saw Little Mermaid before we got on the ship. So yeah, that was just me. So, okay, so I'm gonna kind of go through the decks, which I've did in other videos, but just kind of the things that happen in some of these spaces. So that's why I'll start from there. So again, deck 2 was a space for kids, all type of kids entertainment there. They would do video game competitions, things like that. You know, arts and crafts, all type of stuff that I knew nothing about because I wasn't down there. So check out my other, I think the first podcast, I kind of go a little more detail into what's going on deck 2. Deck 3, what's on deck 3 is the Bayou. What else is there? Hyperspace Lounge, Nightingale, the Grand Hall, which is like the big hall area where you first walk in. That's where the huge chandelier is and the Cinderella statue. And then, so yeah, those are the main, and the main theater is on that floor as well. So things I did on the ship at Bayou. That's where I saw a lot of the live music, was at Bayou. The band, again, I mentioned it earlier in one of my other podcasts. They were great. Did a lot of covers, things like that. So a lot of, good music. They broke it down. Like sometimes it was kind of more of a acoustic jam vibe. So the drummer, he'd be on a cajon. And then other times they'd have and the bass player would have a stand-up bass. And other times they'd be full out, full band, got electric bass, full electric drum set, electric guitar, a couple singers, keys. So depending on, check the Disney app to find out what was going on specifically in Bayou. Other things I saw that were happening in Bayou were a lot around the ship. Throughout the whole ship, there were drawing classes. So like if you're into arts, there was, how to draw certain characters. And in the app was very specific. I mean, I remember walking by Bayou. I think they were drawing Ursula. They were teaching people how to draw Ursula. If you are a Disney Plus member for Disney Plus, I think it was the same. They have those how to draw videos on Disney Plus. So I think they were showing the same ones, but they had an instructor who would pause the video and kind of walk around and kind of help people throughout the drawing session. So I saw that happening at Bayou but it happened all throughout the ship. What else at Bayou that I can remember? I mean, those are pretty much that I remember at Bayou. Nightingales. Nightingales is the Cinderella themed bar area. Things that I went to in there, they had like a jazz acoustic night. And it was just a piano. In the Nightingale, they have a piano in there, and a girl. And the night I was there, I think a guy rotates in there too. But she was playing like jazzed out Disney songs. I mean, it was probably the coolest, one of the coolest things I'd seen there. Just hearing. I think she did "Colors of the Wind," and just hearing that kind of in a jazz style, like it was really cool. I really enjoyed it. So they always had pretty much had some live music going on in there. In Nightingales is where we did like a wine tasting type of vibe, me and my wife. So that was delicious. Not the wine so much, but just because I'm not a huge wine drinker. But they had some chocolate and some cheese that was delish. So it was that was pretty cool. The ship has at least one sommelier on board. Yeah, don't ask me why I know what that is, but I do. But if you're into wine and tastings, she was very educational. Like, I didn't know there were that many wines. I learned what a port wine was, and she was teaching how to pair, chocolates or desserts with wine or cheese with wine. So it was really informational. I thought it was educational. So if you're into that type of stuff, you should try to sign up for the wine tasting. That is a reservation thing though. So if you're interested, I would definitely be looking on your app before you get on board. Really cool experience. And there was like one, two, three, four beverages to try, along with some chocolates and some cheese. So not too bad. And they were more than just a little sample, so it wasn't, I didn't feel, well, it's a cruise, so it is what it is. You're just gonna get what you get. So, so what else? Hyperspace Lounge. I don't remember much entertainment going on in there. The big thing is that the Hyperspace Lounge has the big screen behind the bar, where it kind of looks like you are in a spaceship and you're flying to different destinations in the Star Wars galaxy. So if that's a thing that you are interested in, it'd be cool to check out, where they fly you in the galaxy. Maybe you can sit there and kind of name all of the places. So that's up to you. Good drinks there. My favorite drink of the whole ship was there at the Hyperspace Lounge. So if you want to hear about that, again, check out the food podcast that I do. And then the Grand Main Hall, the Grand Hall, which is the main entrance, the first thing you see when you walk in the ship. That is jam-packed with all types of entertainment throughout the night. Sometimes the band that's in Bayou, they play there. Sometimes, a lot of times that is one of the main spaces. If you're into family photos, things like that, that is the main space where your photo package comes into handy. We bought the photo package before we got on the boat. It's a little cheaper before you get on the boat. If you try to buy the photo package once you get on the boat, price goes up. So keep that in mind. As for people who don't have the photo package, I think you can still take the pictures, but you won't be allowed to download them. So throughout the whole throughout that Grand Hall, throughout the Grand Hall, there's usually backdrops that they set up through the Disney app, the Disney Cruise Line app. They have in the schedule, they have character assignments. So like where the characters are going to be and what time. So if you have a kid who really loves, wants to see Anna and Elsa, they have a scheduled time. I don't know if they're both together. I just said them because they popped in my head. Or, Mickey, Minnie for sure, Donald, Daffy, Goofy. I saw Chip and Dale there a lot. So If you're looking for a specific character to take a picture with, what you would do is you'd walk up during that time slot, you'd let the photographer scan your room key or give them your room number, and then they'll take a picture. And then on the Disney Cruise Line app, those pictures will show up. That all depends on if you have the Wi-Fi. If you do want to see the pictures on deck, I will put the right deck in editing. So, but on deck, fill in the blank here. That is where the photo kiosk or whatever you want to call it is. There, they have like some screens in the hallway. You can scan the QR code, and then they can pull up all of your pictures from that. From the cruise that you've taken. There, you can also get prints ordered there if you really like some prints. There, you can also request, I think you can request private photography sessions. They have a little photo booth room right there. And I feel like, and I'm saying this because I'm just looking at the ship thinking back, like I think they even they have private ones where you can do on the steps of the Grand Hall. So you can probably request that as well if you're one of those people that really enjoy pictures. So a lot of pictures in the Grand Hall, and all throughout the ship. They'll have other areas for pictures. I'll kind of mention them as they pop up as we're talking. So yeah, so that was that was a lot for deck 3, but there's a lot there. Deck 4 is Luna. Luna is kind of another room. Well, deck 4 has Luna, kegging. Well, no, that's on 5. Deck 4 and 5 is Luna. So it's a kind of a smaller theater space. It's not a huge space. This stage is a good sized stage. But that room, Luna, is where they did a lot of the game show type of things, like karaoke. The larger karaoke nights were in Luna. Bingo was in Luna. Bingo was always crowded. If you're a bingo person, show up early enough so you can purchase the bingo tickets. They do traditional, sheets, and then they have electronic ones. They give you like a tablet, like, iPad kind of vibe. And then in that, there is like 24 or 34 cards, all electronic. It was pretty fun. We did that one night. So bingo, things like that. They do a lot of like group games happen in Luna, and I mean all types. Check your schedule for the things that happen in Luna. And they have some that are open to all ages, and they have some that are supposed to be adult only. They did like a marriage couples game, things like that. That was pretty cool. They did some trivia stuff in there as well. So Luna, good place to go. Check the app for things like that. So that's deck 4. Above it also was a balcony. And around the balcony of Luna, if you're right around the balcony of Luna, there's entrances to Keg and Compass and to the Triton Lounge. Keg and Compass, I went there for a couple of trivia, like they did sports trivia in there. So that's something I did. I spent some time in there for trivia. Pretty cool, fun night. For a Triton Lounge, that's a very small room. Like, think of it like a very small, tight comedy club. So a stage with like one step up, and maybe 2 people can fit on that stage. But that's a room where they did some karaoke. That's where they had like a Disney trivia night in there. They do all types of little stuff in that little room. So again, check the Disney app for what's happening in those specific rooms. On the app, you can even organize it by rooms, by which room you would be going in. So check that out. Deck 11, I mentioned, that's where the pools are. That's where the water slide is. The entrance to the water slide is on 12. more forward of the boat. So keep that in mind. So that's where that is. The water slide I didn't get to go on. It's it's like they prefer like a two-person slide. The wait was always like 45 minutes. So I was like, I'm not gonna wait 45 minutes to go on a 2 minute, not even, I would like a minute water slide ride. So I never got to go on it, but the Sharps, they were able to go on it. So they said it was pretty cool. It starts off in like a tunnel with like Disney, like a little Disney show that happens in there. And then you go on a slide that kind of goes pretty much around the ship. So around the outside of the ship. So it was pretty cool. It seems pretty cool. I heard a lot of screaming. So from kids and adults sliding around on that. So yeah, so that's where that is. Deck 11, again, entertainment wise, that's where the main outdoor shows would happen out there that we talked about already. Deck 12 is where like Hero Zone, which is like the sports events that may come up that happen. So I saw they offered like a 3-point contest, free throw contest, basketball games, things like that. Those were happening in on the Hero Zone. Lots of area. That's where you want to go. Like if you're into like ping pong, air hockey, they got like a small track there. Bags, so or cornhole, depending on what part of the country you're from. So all of that is in the Hero Zone, so you can play those type of sportsy games there. Again, I can't remember what floor shuffleboard is on, but it's on the outside of like 4 or 5, one of those lower levels. So check that out. Oh, the Rose Bar, that's on 12. The Rose Bar is adults only bar. Not a lot of entertainment, I guess you can say, going on there, but for me, I guess the entertainment is the visual entertainment. That's the highest bar on the ship, 18 and up, biggest windows. So you can sit, and they have chairs literally sitting right up to the window. So you can look out and see, open ocean. It's a really cool view. I really enjoyed seeing that. So get up there around sunset time. I would definitely go check that out. So the Rose, again, that's a Beauty and the Beast, obviously themed bar. That's what the Rose is about. Really cool place. Again, 18 and older. Got a long walkway, a cool photo opportunity with the Rose and the mirror sitting there. So that's a really cool thing to check out. Okay, deck 13 is where the adults only pools and things are. So that's where you can go for, a hot tub that's just adults only. That's where they have like a infinity pool for adults only. And this is all in the aft of the boat. So you can go check that out. Also, Cove Cafe and Bar is up there. I don't know. I didn't spend a lot of time in the cafe. I don't know if they had a lot of events going on in there, but I would check. You never know. Man, again, I just want to make sure I reiterate. Use that Disney Cruise Line app. Use it before you get on the ship, but once you get on the ship, man, check that. You could scroll for days for the amount of things that are available to do on there. So I would check that for sure. So that's pretty much all I can think of on the ship. So I do want to talk about Castaway Cay a little bit. Castaway Cay, man, I haven't been on a lot of cruises. I've been on, this is only my second cruise, but Castaway Cay was really cool. Castaway Cay for me was the snorkeling. I was watching a lot of videos and things like that, and a lot of people were talking about how the snorkeling they have under the water, they have like probably 10 to 12 different buoys that are attached to really cool things to look at underwater. So like I was all for it. So I wanted to do it. So the snorkeling, I was really excited about that. They offer stuff. You can rent snorkeling equipment, or you can buy your own. It's up to you. If you rent, they give you a life jacket. They give you a traditional snorkeling thing, in your mouth tube and goggles. So that's what you rent. And they also have free life jackets. So for me, I brought my own snorkeling thing and I used one of the free life jackets. Those were not fat man friendly at all. I needed help to get out of them, and I found the biggest one they had. So that was a little snug. At least I think I found the biggest one. That was only large size. I think even might have been extra large. So if you are snorkeling, they will not let you snorkel without a life jacket. Like I got, the lifeguards. There are lifeguards. They were, very vocal saying, hey, if you're snorkeling, you need to have a life jacket on. So keep that in mind. They have, like I said, a snorkeling area just for snorkeling. I found out because it's a pretty large area to be in. But they said on the right side of the snorkeling area that's sectioned off, on the right side, there's some grass that's, that you can stand on. So if you're not a very strong swimmer, don't let that deter you. I would say definitely have some swimming experience, but if you're not a strong swimmer, stay on the right side. You can kind of walk, and then dip over and look. So you can go, so you'd be on the right side, you can walk, catch your breath, get yourself, and then swim out a little bit to go to one of the buoys and then swim back to the right side to stand, catch your breath. But I mean, this is probably my only regret of the whole trip is that I did not have a GoPro for that. It was so cool. I saw a lot of live animals. I saw, a stingray. I saw one of them dory fish, blue. I mean, that thing was so blue. It was really cool. Underwater, they have things like, I'll just tell you the one thing that was cool. They have like the Prince Eric statue. So I thought that was kind of cool. It was right around Little Mermaid time. So they had the Prince Eric statue from the cartoon down there. I thought that was really cool. But that was just something that I did. So some other things that happened at Castaway Cay. Castaway Cay is, again, Disney's private island. So any purchases that you want to make, so like they have shops on the ship. Cool about it being a Disney only island is you can use your room key. So if you are, down there and you see a shirt or a blanket or, any souvenirs, you can use your room key. They have like a hair braider there too. They say, I saw someone post in one of the Disney Facebook pages that the hair braiders at Disney Key are more affordable than the hair braiders in in the Bahamas. So keep that in mind. If you're like, oh, your kids want to get their hair braided, keep that in mind. So there is the Spring a Leak mini water area. That's kind of for the kids, for like the younger kids, fresh water. So that's a good place for them. Eating on that day, again, I mentioned it earlier, but like they have 2 restaurants there, quite a few bars there that you can buy drinks for. Scuttle's Cove is like a 3 to 12-year-old area where you can drop the kids off with people from the ship. So if they have been to any of the kids areas on the ship, they can go to Scuttle's Cove, and then that's where they can hang out with even more those same counselors that they met. And that gives you the opportunity to go to the adults only area to Serenity Bay. And also they have a hideout. The hideout is for the teens. So all the things that the kids, the separate areas that are on the ship, they offer some of those at Castaway Cay. Also, when you first leave the ship, depending on how early you leave. So we left really close to, I don't remember what time we left, but the time we left. So once you get to Castaway Cay, when they start off, letting people get off the ship, I would try to get off pretty early of that because that's when the characters are out there. I can't remember if that was in the Disney app or Disney Cruise Line app, if the time that the photographers and characters are out there. I'm not 100% sure, but I know they offer photos at Castaway Key. Me and my wife, we were able to take a couple of them. There was one that I really wanted to take, and the photographer literally was packing up. And once they start packing, they don't start. They don't stop. Like I feel like they're really strict on their time zone. So like, you could be I remember this lady trying to run to catch the character. Boy, they was like, yeah, sorry, it's been our time. So, which I get. I mean, you can't, if you start cutting corners or start letting kids stick around, staying 2 minutes late, someone's gonna be mad that you stayed 2 minutes and the next person didn't stay. So they're real strict with the time frame of the photos. So make sure you check that, the app, or just try to get off kind of early. We got off kind of later in the day from Castaway Key. What else on Castaway Key? Yeah, like I mentioned, the adults only area. They have bike riding there. There's a 5K run on Castaway Key. So if you're into running, and they give you like a medal for completing it, you don't even have to run it. Just if you do the 5K, you'll get a medal. So if that's something, if you like to get a free souvenir, there you go. There's a free one for you. The bike rental, they have bike rental, so you'll have to pay for that. Trying to think what else do they offer on Castaway Key. I can't think of anything else off the top of my head from Castaway Key. So yeah, so that's pretty much Castaway Key. I'll talk about the Bahamas a little bit. Bahamas offered a lot of excursions. Me and my wife did one of did the local zoo excursion. It was cool. I probably, if I had a choice, this is just my opinion. If you've been to the Bahamas before, it looks a lot different now. From, I think I went like 10 years ago from now. And I feel like a lot of people were saying that they recently remodeled just that whole area. I mean, they have a ton of shops on the pier side. So basically inside the pier where you don't actually have to ever leave the pier. Lots of shops in there, places for people to shop and hang out, that you can pay cash for. So like, I thought that I wish I would have been able to spend more time there. We didn't get to spend any time there because by the time we went on our excursion and we're heading back, we hadn't found a bathroom that whole time, so we had to run to the bathroom. So, and so by the time we got on the ship, it was almost time to leave. So we didn't really get to spend a lot of time in the Bahamas, but I mean, I would, depends on what you want to do. A lot of the excursions, you'd have to book before you get on the ship. Like I really wanted to go to Atlantis, but I never got to go because it was booked up pretty quick. Excursions, I'd start booking earlier the better. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's 30 days out is when you can start booking excursions, things like that. The stuff to do on the ship, like the ship has a barber shop. I didn't mention that. The ship has a salon. Those are things you can book reservations for. If you have a little, a small child, I want to say it's called Bippity Boppity. I can't remember the name of it, but they have a little, they have a thing that you can pay for, get a reservation for, where they dress your kids up as Disney princes and princesses. So that's something you want to try to book up as soon as you can. So that happens as well. So those are some of the things that, that I can think of that I didn't get to experience myself that I know happen. So yeah, I think that's pretty much all the things that I can think of that you can do that I've done, that I've heard of, our friends checking out. And I bet you there's a ton I did not cover. So in a nutshell, go on a Disney cruise. You will never be bored. you will probably be sad of all the things you didn't get to do. Honestly, you're gonna be like, oh, I wish I would have done that. So then you got to book another Disney cruise so you can make sure you do that. So, man, I would definitely do it. The sooner the better. Hit me up if you have any questions. Well, that pretty much covers all of the entertainment that I can think of that I can cover. Hopefully you've really enjoyed this time hanging out with me. Why don't you make sure you follow, check everything else out. Got some more podcasts, and all of those are linked below. So excited you hung out with me today. So keep on watching FMF Disney with Linnell. All right, see you.